Welcome back, everyone, to Howard Brightwood Studios Off the Mag. Had the great pleasure of interviewing Dave Alton, the multimedia artist that I met while I was working with a big corporation. Dave and I have stayed in touch. I've been a big fan of his work for a long time. Let's jump into our conversation. All right?
All right. I'll
All
act
right.
like I haven't talked to you for the last 15 minutes.
No, but it's up.
All right.
All right, Dave Alton. Welcome to Howard Brightwood Studios Off the Mag. We were colleagues at one time at a large communication company. Glad to, you know, get back and talk with you a little bit. And we're gonna review some of your art. And I think it's really cool. I always did. I think that your whole technique is kind of new and different. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we'll get right to it.
Sounds good.
Okay. There we go, and there you are. All right. So, Dave, I'm going to move us a little bit closer so that I can see you.
Okay.
And so, beware of falling people. Tell me what
Yeah.
motivated that.
All my work is a little bit of extraneous, right? I mean, I come from a generation of black and white. So growing up, everything was black and white. Even when color televisions came out, we didn't purchase one. We were a very working class family in Chicago, and so I was brought up in black and white, and so it still kind of gives me this kind of a warm feeling. So when I'm creating, I enjoy the black and white, and then I throw the color in there, and I feel like the color kind of draws people to it, and then the black and white figurative pieces hold your attention. This particular piece, I was kind of inspired by Frank Longo. His New York imagery, and so I think even you and I have talked about the ups and downs, right, in life, and I just wanted to kind of capture these different images. I just like to go out and find imagery that just interests me, plop them in there in a kind of an extraneous composition, and just see how they fall, and that's kind of what inspired this piece.
It does have a beautiful depth to it, right? It's got a really cool dimensionality to it. And I just think that now that you've explained it, I understand it. I mean, I've been all of those people.
Right.
I think that the dimension, I love how you added that. I think that the blue, actually, the way you did that kind of fade adds like a really cool depth to it, so everybody looks like there's a little, it's not just one flat kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of a sky kind of
Yeah,
it's
no,
kind of
it's very cool.
infinite.
All right, we'll get to the next one. So this one's a little bit more.
This is I just had fun with this. Again, it's kind of a nostalgia, right? The black and white imagery, a little bit of splashes of color to draw the viewer in, and then some of the more timely or recent symbolism that kind of brings you back, brings you forward, I guess. But yeah, this was imagery just kind of interested me. It's very eclectic. It's very extraneous. Even up on the right hand side, there's like a Bic lighter, but I call this Big Hair. For whatever reason, it's one of the more popular, I guess, in terms of it was recently purchased. So it was one of my favorites. I kind of broke my heart a little bit, but you know, uh, it's been one of the favorites. I know when I've done shows and things like that, that people just identify with. They just see this as kind of a fun, like I said, extraneous, but it's got a warmth to it. You got the Orville Redenbacher. I don't know why I got him in.
Did you draw? Do you draw those, or do you?
Yeah, I do. I draw everything. So I'm first and foremost a drawer. as Picasso said, everything starts with the drawing. And so that's what I enjoy doing the most. So I concept it generally in Photoshop, and I I basically take that concept and I copy it. I get on paper and I draw it all out, and then literally go back and color it all in like I was a kid. When my wife a number of years ago, I had stopped painting and drawing. The kids were growing up. She bought me this drawing table and she says, "Dave, you got to get back to work." And so the first thing I did was start Crayola again, just that fresh piece of paper, the smell of the crayon, and then just it's an amazingly tough medium to work with. There's no you know uh, if you make a mistake, you're kind of done. It's not like you can erase it easily, So
No.
you've got to build a technique, and that's what I've done, and that's part of the fun of it. Laying it all out, drawing it, coloring it, it's all part of the effort.
Yeah, it's neat. It's really neat. I like that. All right. So there we go. I'm gonna move us off of here. Um, so this is very retro as well.
It is.
I love all the high hair, you know.
Yeah, right. I don't know if you ever had the chance to see Austin Powers, the first one.
Hmm.
Uh, so the fembots inspired me, both from going back to my youth and my formative years, to just kind of enjoying the kind of the comedy of it. And I just kind of envisioned, what would happen if the fembots were walking down the street and a bunch of construction workers, saw the fembots walking by. And so I kind of made it to where they were more, accommodating rather than catcalling the fembots. I guess
Right.
it's just kind of, I just like to have fun with it.
Yeah.
It was just, a fun effort to
Yeah. So I'm
put
gonna go back for
together.
a second because I just want to hear it. So on this one, those two gals out to the left, um,
Yeah.
to me, it's like the B-52s, right?
Yeah,
That
right,
bee,
exactly.
that
Right.
beehivey hairdo.
Yeah,
You and I are the same age, so I grew up with all the similar sensibilities just outside of Manhattan instead of Chicago, and
right,
I just that's what I keep hearing Rock Lobster in my head when I see this one.
right,
you
right.
know and this one I dig as well. I think that the walking down the street in New York and any construction site, if these gals would come by, it would be a
Oh yeah.
yeah, it'd be very interesting.
Yeah, so I just kind of place them into I find the imagery, I plop them in there, I just create this kind
So
of goofy
when you do
concept.
this, do you lay the background down first and then or do you color in around it?
No, I actually do all of the imagery first. So on the canvas, this is a 30 by 40 canvas, so relatively large. That's primarily what I work on, is a 30 by 40, and I draw it. So I literally just go in, and after I've printed out my map or my layout, after I've laid it out in Photoshop, often then the colors change, but I pretty much stay the course. Once I've concepted it, I stay to the concept. But no, I do the drawing, I paint all of the imagery, and then I do the background afterward.
Neat. Very cool. All right, so let's move on to this one. And
Oh yeah.
this one is all the gal. I'm going to try to enlarge this a little bit. These are all the gals that you and I grew up with.
Oh yeah. Listen, I called it um, oh, what was it? Something. Uh, like training the libido or something like that. I can't
Right.
remember the name of it. Actually sold as well. It was actually a young couple that bought it. They were kind of intrigued by it, and I was kind of surprised because this imagery is a couple of generations after them, but they were very intrigued by it. I think their parents had some connection to some of these. So yeah, obviously, I've kind of captured some of the more formative years of what we probably saw as the vision of attractive women. So I had crushes, not so much on Barbie, but maybe so. I don't know. But these were uh, the people or the women that kind of set the stage for what we considered attractive in that time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that people now really realize that Anne Margaret was I mean, she set the whole trend for the next group of singer, dancer, women
Right.
who can, and she rode a motorcycle. So
And she rode a motorcycle, yeah. And she was a fine actress. I don't feel.
fine actress.
I mean, she
Yeah,
was
it
just
wasn't just really cheesy Elvis movies,
right, right.
you know. So is the gal to the right, is that Suzanne Plachette?
It certainly is. Yeah,
No
yeah,
kidding. Yeah.
yeah.
So I only know her from
I,
Bob
I
Newhart.
was surprised to find that image of her, to be honest with you. And I mean, when I found it, I thought, yes, I loved Suzanne Plachette.
Yeah,
So
I
there's,
mean, I thought that she was actually a great comic foil
oh
to
yeah,
Bob Newhart.
Hard. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then then the other two are well, one is still alive, and the other one, they're just two TV icon legends.
right.
Uh, and they wound up, and it's very funny. So these are the gals who really, and now that you're showing them to me, really kind of like set the pace for what's going on now.
Yeah, yeah,
These were the these were the revolutionaries, because back when we were kids, it was way different.
yeah.
The it was a little bit more cloistered than it is
Right.
now.
Yeah, and it was television primarily, right? I mean,
Right.
television movies. We didn't have the internet. The television was the prime.
Yeah. So who's the back in the back holding up the television?
Oh, it's just kind of this creating this background where um, a period of time where mom
Yeah,
would have
no,
been
it's
coming
kind of,
in
I
and
like it. It's very mysterious.
oh, I'm sorry. The name of this is Programming the Libido.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect name for that. All
Right.
right, hold on a sec. I'm gonna shrink it back down because this is big.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can. There we go. So that's this, and I'm gonna try to one more time. This way we can see the whole thing. Okay. So more women from your history.
Yeah, yeah. This one's called Some Birds Fly Better Than Others. This actually just recently sold. Again, one of my personal favorites. So a little sad to see it go, but it found a good home. But these, yeah, I just kind of, again, it's kind of extraneous in a lot of ways. When I'm concepting, David Sally is one of my favorite artists, and he kind of validated my approach where you know uh, you see imagery, you start to plop it in there, and just go with it. Don't worry so much about messaging or those types of things. Just kind of go with your gut. That's kind of what I did here. I mean, it kind of came out to be a portrait of playfulness, uh, allure, and more of a shy or uh, uh, just kind of a more kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, that's Babs from
Right.
Animal House, but just the three different personalities that so
Yeah. So the pieces, are those game pieces in the
yeah,
back?
they are. Sorry, again,
From
sorry.
Sorry. Right. That's what I thought that they were.
Yeah,
Neat. This is a cool one as well. I love how you paste the color, you know, and you know this one it really gives it a neat kind of dimensionality, and you know, and I find that in all of the things that you're doing, you seem to be able to, you know, even with the, you know, with the guys who were surrounding the fembots, they look like they're dancing around her a little bit, you know,
Right.
them a little bit, you
Yeah,
know.
I don't give them a base to stand on.
Yeah,
Everything is free floating.
yeah,
I just want to have that flexibility in the concept.
yeah. No, and I like the, you know, same thing. I mean, this one has like the way you've color panel the color panels are. It has like like a neat, just a really neat depth.
Yeah, often the colors I choose would not be something that you would wear.
Right.
You wouldn't be an ensemble, but they work for the paintings, I guess. I
Yeah.
just
No, they certainly do. They certainly do. This is this is cool as well. So Dave, I think that that's it. That's all of them.
mm,
Um, you know, I just love I just love this one. You know, I just, because it reminds me of just the way the guys are kind of moving around the gals, and it just reminds me of my childhood, and you know, and what I can remember.
right.
You know, and then these, like I said before, I mean, these gals are just legendary, and I love the way, you know, you put this person in front, and how the TVs are filling him with all of these weird, you know, what women were
Right.
when we were kids.
Essentially, truly
Right?
programming the libido, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it's I get it. I get it. You know. Um, and then this one I certainly love. I think that this is to me, this is, hey, this is, like I said, rock lobster to me. I just love it.
yeah,
You know, I hear that in my brain, and you know, I love the way you use the at signs to give it a little bit of a modern twist. You know,
right.
that's very cool. You know, and that's just really, I just, I love the dimensionality that you find, Dave. You know, I really do. I just think that even this one, where the gal looks like she's diving past the guy who's dipping his back. I just think that that's
Right.
just such a, you know, it's just such a cool, uh, it's just such a cool take, you know, and and I'm glad you're selling them. You know, who would, because because you know, when you get started, who would, you know, you never think of that. You know,
Nah.
you're not doing them to sell them. You're doing them because you love them.
Right, right. Yeah, and I don't act. I mean, I do kind of. I mean, I'm most recently I was in the gallery in Wicker Park in Chicago, the David Leonardis pop art gallery, and I've been at the Tony Fitzpatrick gallery in Chicago, and been in galleries in Seattle. As you know, I lived in Seattle for a number of years,
Right.
and but I don't actively do it, but I actively create, and I tell other creatives that you have to take, whether you feel like it or not, take that time every day. So I'm working every day. I am painting or concepting or drawing or laying things out every single day, whether I want to or not. And I think it's important to do that. So whether you're
Agreed.
selling them or not,
Agreed. You know, I shoot every day,
good.
whether
That's awesome.
whether I like it or don't like it.
Right.
You know, I mean, I used to shoot people all the time, and I don't have that. You know, so I go by, you know, shoot what you got,
Yeah.
and
No, I've
try to
seen
make
some of
it,
your florals and
as emotional, and try to make it the same way I shoot faces, or I would shoot somebody, a fashion photo or a group of folks interacting. My wife has this wonderful flower garden. I shoot all of her flowers, and you know,
yeah,
they're,
they're beautiful. I've
and
seen them.
thank you. And you know, and some of them are to me, you know, very moving, and then some of them ones that I don't show are practice. But the fact is that I'm a very, I agree with you that if you don't feed it, there's no, there's no way to continue,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm gonna unshare for a second. And I totally believe that that's what I'm here for. I'm here for two things, right? I'm here to help facilitate, which I'm trying to form a community like with you and the other artists that I've been interviewing. And I'm helping to feed it. I'm helping to feed my own creative because, I don't have there's nobody who has written the book on how to be creative and how to think and how to do any of that. You are like, and I treat it like music, right? If you're going to be a guitar player, you got to play all the time, right? And the fact is that I put my 10,000 hours into photography and design, and that's why I'm finally good at it, or thinking that I'm good at it. And
Right.
that's all the people who I talk to, or it's very similar, that they spent a tremendous amount of time honing their craft, trying to figure out what they wanted to do, how they express themselves. And that's the whole, so that is the whole underpinning of what I'm doing. I'm trying to talk to folks like you so I can help feed other people, right? Someone's going to look at this,
Absolutely.
and maybe
Absolutely.
somebody will be inspired by, not just the cool multimedia that you use, but and the crayons and the paint and all of that, but your subject matter. It should turn people on. That's what it's all about. Is to evoke emotion.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally, how I feel. I've said this to you a while ago when you first showed me your stuff. I just thought
Right.
it was so cool, and I've always appreciated it. And now getting the chance to talk to you about it really, and can be able to show people your work through my network is really very, very exciting to me.
Well, I do appreciate it. It's a great opportunity, and I know I've been watching your shows, and honestly, very inspiring. Talking to
Excellent.
the creative directors and
Good.
photographers and designers, and it's just it's great that you've found this opportunity to reach out to other creatives, and got to spread the word.
Absolutely. Dave, thanks very much for everything. Thanks for being on Howard Bright Rose Studios off the mag. Looking forward to seeing you someday in person. Um,
Yeah.
and keep on doing what you're doing, man. It's really beautiful.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it, and always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely. Be well, Dave. We'll speak to you soon. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Dave. I'd like to thank you all for viewing. Please don't hesitate to subscribe or ring the bell. This is a self-sustaining channel. Welcome to Howard Bright Rose Studios off the mag.